Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. We should probably have some music in the background, don't you think? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't think I'm going to use the stream audio. I want to avoid as much copyright as possible, of course. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of just different versions of stream breakdown video on YouTube. But what's happening, Joe? But I figured I'd do it in a stream fashion, excuse me, because it allows for chat interaction, and it can it's a lot less time consuming than scripting and editing and screenshotting for a video. So I figured I'd go ahead and do this stream introduction. I'm just trying to get a nice casual feel with you guys as well. So we're talking about the Strike stream that we just watched, of course. Let me see here. I just want to make sure that Twitter is working. Okay. Planet Destiny had just uploaded a, what's it called? Strike walkthrough. So if you want more details about the Strike mechanics and stuff, then I suggest going to watch that. But we're going to just go ahead and break down the stream here and just really have a conversation about the new stuff that they're introducing. The first thing that they talk about is the new subclasses. And the first one is the Titan, the Solar Titan Sunbreaker. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. And it's super awesome because it's like Golden Gun, but you don't have an ammo counter for it. You just throw hammers at them, kind of like in Radiance with the Warlock Sunsinger. You get to just throw grenades until the super's done. That's what the hammer does as well. So first off, they go through each tree in the subclass. So first off, we notice that they have fusion grenades, and this third grenade right here is incendiary grenades. So 2 out of the 3 grenades that we will see in the new subclasses are recycled from old subclasses. Fusion grenades from the Sunsinger and incendiary grenades from the Gunslinger. I'm not a big fan of this, but we'll get to that in a second. So the new grenade for the Sunbreaker Titan subclass is Thermite Grenade, a grenade that sends forth a burning line of fire. So that's really cool. It is kind of an area denial grenade, so it'll be nice for control in PvP and for just area denial in PvE. If you notice, whenever you fight PvE encounters, specifically I was playing this morning with the Defender Titan, and they had those spike grenades, just any damage over time grenades. Some enemies will actually just stop in place and just crouch to try and avoid the damage. I think that's going to happen with these thermite grenades as well. If you're able to get that line of fire out, then those enemies won't be able to run forward to where that grenade is, or to where that line of fire is. So that's going to be really useful. Damage over time, we don't know how strong it is, but this could be as effective as solar grenades from the Sunbreakers, or Sun Singers, aka not very useful. So yeah, that's my initial impression of that. And then we see the incendiary grenades again. Your lifts are your typical Titan lifts, blah blah blah. And then we talk about the super. Okay, like I said, you just throw hammers back and forth. What's up, Kite Flyer? You have the flu. Oh no, I was sick this past weekend, so I understand. I think I had some type of bronchitis, so I've had a lot of phlegm in my throat as well. So the super, right? Forge Master, throw more hammers, and hammers cause bigger explosions. So this is kind of like a Heart of the Praxic Fire buff to your super for Sunbreakers. You just get to throw more hammers, and like I said, there's no ammo counter. You just get to throw as many as you can for the duration of your whatever. Engram stress balls to throw at my screen every time I get another Sawtooth Oscillator. Yeah, a friend of mine got Sawtooth Oscillator this morning, and it was his first one. He was like, "Hey, is this any good?" And I was like, "No, get rid of it." That's funny. So throw more hammers. Probably Forge Master is going to be actually super fun to use, but just remember you can only generate 8 orbs of light. So how much use is that going to be? The pause button is kind of in the way of this, but press R1 during Hammer of Soul to hurl yourself forward. Okay, so kind of like a shoulder charge, a solar shoulder charge when you're in your super, so you can actually get that melee going. Instead of just throwing hammers at people, you can actually get in people's face to hit them, and you actually chain fiery damage to other enemies because enemies in your path explode. So that's really cool. So it's kind of like a combination. It's a solar shoulder charge with a bloom effect. That's really cool. And then the one that he was using in the stream, this bottom one, Scorched Earth, ignite the world, creating sunspots everywhere your Hammer of Soul impacts. Sunspots are these little things that are generated, and we'll see later on in the strike, whenever he pops the super, he throws a hammer down at his feet and creates a sunspot. And a little bit later on in the tree, it explains what those sunspots are, so I'm going to leave that just for a little bit. Let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, now the melee. Burn your enemy with a heavy solar melee strike. We've seen this with Sun Singers, with the Warlock that we already have, so nothing new here. Burn away your target's defenses. While burning, targets are weakened. Targets are weakened to both you and your allies. We actually see this in the strike. He melees the boss, and every shot applied after that, when he's kind of burning, are precision hits, right? So right away I was thinking, oh man, final round snipers are only going to proc on precision hits this time. So this kind of makes those a little bit more useful as well. So any melee against any enemy is going to take precision damage as long as they're burning from this melee attack. Yeah, this strike as a Nightfall is going to be an intense boss battle, especially if it has solar burn. Thank you for following the stream. I'll get to your name in just a moment. Let's see here. Okay, thermal vent. Sunstrike releases a solar explosion on hit. Kills create sunspots, damages enemies inside. Creates sunspots at what? Sunspots that damage enemies inside. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is kind of like a bloomed, I'm talking about the Voidwalker Warlock bloom perk, melee effect. So I'm going to hit your enemy, you're going to explode, and you're going to create a sunspot. So that's actually really cool. If you want to maximize sunspots, you would actually be using this as opposed to the other perk that he uses in this stream. And then the bottom one here reduces Sunstrike cooldown. Getting a kill blow with Sunstrike instantly recharges it. So Storm Fist on the Striker Titans has a chance to instantly recharge, but this actually guarantees a recharge, and this actually reduces Sunstriker cooldown. So already this is better than Striker Titan. Solar Burn, Angry, and Grounded. Yeah, that's going to be intense. Alright. Let's carry on here. We have your typical Titan ability trees here and here. So just the modifications here. This top, your Hammer of Soul will alter its flight path to seek out your enemies. This is a tracking golden gun. Oh my god, this is the thing for PvP. Oh my god, this is overpowered. We don't know how strong the tracking is, and I say overpowered because I'm just trying to get up hyped. But if we think about it, the Voidwalker Warlock also has Nova Bomb tracks enemies, and it's not very strong. So maybe this won't be as useless as that, but maybe it won't be as strong as what I'm thinking. It's most likely, hopefully, fingers crossed, not going to be a truth rocket seeking ability. So hopefully it can't curve around corners and stuff like that, but this is definitely going to be go-to in PvP because unlike Golden Gun, as I said before, there's no ammo counter for your Hammer of Soul. So yeah, just throw hammers and just track enemies the whole time. Explosive Pyre. Enemies felled. I've never heard that word before. Enemies felled. Anyways, by your hammer explode, chaining fiery solar damage to others. So this is combustion on the Golden Gun gunslingers, but just in Hammer of Soul fashion. So if you have PvP control, Explosive Pyre is going to be the go-to because combustion on gunslinger is must-have, in my opinion. Must-have because that chance of having that area of effect explosion is huge. And this bottom one, Fleet Fire. Alright, enemies felled, I guess injured or killed, whatever. Enemies felled by your fire grant you bonus agility and reload speed stacks up to 3 times. So, in the strike, this is what I'm talking about. When he first pops his Hammer of Soul, he hits it on the ground, Sunspot, right? Sunspots gives you agility and reload speed around you, right? I think? No, that's not what that is. When he was throwing the hammer, right, and he hit people with that hammer, or he hits people with his grenade, then that's when you get that agility and reload speed buff, and it stacks up to 3 times. So that's going to be actually super useful because it's not just like incendiary grenade, okay, on the gunslingers, right? Think about this. That damage over time, or even this secondary, what is it, the thermite grenade? Just that secondary fire is going to be damage over time against enemies. So you're going to get that bonus agility and reload speed as long as they're on fire. So that's going to be super useful, I think. And I guess that's why he's using it in the strike in PvE. These other two sound like PvP perks, and this bottom one sounds more PvE oriented. Again, we have just typical Titan defense tree, whatever. So Simmering Flames, when super energy is full, grenade and melee abilities charge twice as fast. Yeah, that's awesome because this will allow you to run what is it? What's it called? Because when you're min-maxing your subclass, you want to try and get your armor that's full intellect and full discipline, or full intellect and full strength, or full discipline and strength, whatever. And typically, you only have enough points to just accumulate 100% in 2 out of the 3 stats. But with the Taken King, we're adding more stats and stuff like that, so we'll probably be able to get a little bit more points in that 3rd perk as well. But this will allow you to not have any intellect or whatever, or no, it'll have you have full intellect and you can run a full strength build And then once your super is charged, that grenade cooldown goes down as well. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that plays in effect. Just realized something. Nightstalker class can't bag in Crucible because they will just evade. Cauterize. Enemies brought down by your fire regenerate your health. That's nice. That is nice. That's very self-explanatory. Don't need to go into detail there. Firekeeper. While standing in a sunspot, you gain an overshield, and Hammer of Soul lasts longer. So this is why you want those sunspots, right? This is why he wanted those sunspots, because, and whenever he popped his super, he just dropped one at his feet and created that sunspot, because it allows his Hammer of Soul to last longer. And having an overshield, that's flame shield right at your feet, readily available whenever your super is active. So yeah, absolutely. If you're capturing a control point in Crucible, pop your super, drop a sunspot right at your feet, you have an overshield, and then you just chuck hammers at everybody. That's just, yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so let's get into the second subclass here. Fast forward just a little bit, they talk about the artifact. Artifact is just another armor piece that helps you out, you know? Solar melees have a chance to generate an orb when killing a minion of the darkness. So most likely there's going to be PvE oriented and PvP oriented artifacts for your subclasses. That's just as simple as that. So moving on, we have, I think we go on to the, what's it called? The Stormcaller? Nightstalker. Sweet. Okay. So again, 2 out of the 3 grenades are recycled from previous subclasses. Spike grenade is Defender Titan. That's what I use on my Defender Titan because I love trip mines, lightning grenades, and spike grenades. And now I can have them on my Hunter, but actually I'm probably going to switch between these and the unique grenade that they've created. So yeah, that's exciting. Spike grenade, blah blah blah. Let's go into the Void Wall grenade, a grenade that creates a horizontal wall of burning void light. They say it's area of denial. I think you can still walk through it. I don't know for certain, but if you can't pass through it while the void wall is active, then this is awesome. Absolutely awesome. It's complete area of denial. That's amazing. But if it just does damage to you as you run through it, then in my opinion, it's not much different than the Titan fire grenade that gives you just a line of fire on the ground, right? So maybe this is just the sticky version of that grenade, because this one creates a horizontal wall of void light. Maybe you can stick it to a wall and it can come out this way instead of just throwing it on the ground and coming up this way. I don't know. I haven't seen any gameplay of it, but if you have, in the comments or in the chat, please let me know, and we can correct that info. And then the bottom grenade just looks like a vortex grenade from a Voidwalker Warlock, most likely. So yeah, nothing really exciting there at all. Yeah, vortex grenade. Yifty-doo, we've recycled another grenade. I'm not excited about that. The Dreadnought live stream is next week, actually. Next week they are patrolling the Dreadnought. Okay, so breaking down the jumps, this is standard Gunslinger Hunter jumps. You're going to have triple jump here at the bottom. That's what you should always be running. Controlled jump, no thanks. Greater height, no. Triple jump, that's just how it's going to be. Everybody's going to run triple jump, in my opinion. Unless the raid mechanic calls for better control and Bones of Eau, or greater height and Bones of Eau, or whatever. So, in my opinion, triple jump is just the best. So, yeah. Shadow Shot. Tether foes to avoid anchor, slowing, weakening, and suppressing them for you and your allies. Suppressing them is huge in Crucible. This is the super denial in Crucible. This is the wizard shutdowner of the PvE, because if a wizard is suppressed, it can't attack at all. It doesn't do its little light shooty thing, and it doesn't summon that poison cloud, because all of its attacks are abilities, and suppressions stop abilities. You see a Blade Dancer coming at you in the Crucible, Void Bow him. If it doesn't kill them, it pops them out of their Blade Dancer, and you're ready to go. So let's see these the additions onto it. Oh, let's wait. Okay, Bloodbound. Tethered enemies explode when killed. Damage to tethered enemies is shared to all. So if I tether somebody, then BBK Dragoon can come in with his Stormcaller, right, and just lightning everybody, right, and they just explode, right? That's awesome, because it's not just me triggering that explosion, it's my allies as well. Black Hole. The Void Anchor has increased range, lasts significantly longer, and can tether more targets. This is just casting a wider net. Casting a wider net, because it just, this is actually probably going to be the go-to, because the more enemies you can tether, the better, because then, I don't know, it just seems like this would be a really good one, especially for PvE, definitely. Quiver. Fire Shadow Shot up to 3 times. Void Anchors have reduced range. So I think you can only shoot the Void Bow twice in your super. And this gives you a 3rd shot, and it actually reduces the range of those tethers. So this is just pulling back and forth. Bam, 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 bam. If you can only shoot the bow once, then it's very similar to the Nova Bomb, in which that make it count. So, yeah. Let's move on. Smoke. Okay, so similar to the Gunslinger's throwing knife, the Nightstalker Hunter is going to be able to throw smoke out. So think of the Wizard's Poison Cloud. That's what we're going to be throwing for the Nightstalker Hunters. Adds a toxin that damages enemies within the smoke. Again, think the Wizard's Poison Cloud. That's exactly what this is. Vanish in Smoke. This is awesome. This is awesome. You and your allies near smoke explosions. Oof, I can't talk. Vanish from sight. Yes, 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 yes. Fire team invisibility. Yes, this is awesome. Titans finally can go invisible without using patience and time, right? Warlocks can finally go invisible without using patience and time. Hunters, yeah, vanish from sight again, and this is just going to be awesome. Yeah, yes, please. This is going to be fun to use. The next one, let's see here. Feel free to stop me in the chat and ask questions if you have anything, or if you just have any comments about any subclasses that I'm talking about. Please let me know. What class are you guys most excited about? I mean, obviously, I'm a hunter, so yeah, I'm really excited about the Nightstalker. So Snare is the final perk. Allows smoke to stick to surfaces detonating when enemies are near. So this is this is awesome. We don't know if it's going to be as visible as a trip mine grenade, but this is a trip mine trap of sorts, because it's going to allow enemies to trigger it as they run past. So yeah, that's interesting, because I'm thinking more of a PvP oriented approach when using this perk, but I think this team invisibility vanish smoke is going to be a little bit more useful than the other. Again, just like the Titan and the Warlock, we have typical hunter trees right there. Okay, and these are class benefits, buffs. Killing tethered targets increases recovery and armor for you and nearby allies. Stacks up to 5 times. So the people I tether with the Void Bow, once we kill them, and if I have the perk that causes them to explode after they're tethered, and after they die after they're tethered, then I gain increased recovery and armor. Absolutely. Yeah, that just makes me tankier and allows me to survive more. Stacks up to 5 times, 5 enemies. Yeah. If you tether a group of Thrall, right? If the explosion doesn't kill him, then Thrall are going to be super easy, and you get 5 times the amount of recovery and armor. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. That's really good, especially for PvE. PvE, I would think that's a little bit better. Light of the Pack. Being tethered, or no, killing tethered targets creates orbs of light for your allies. So I think that's triggered by me. So once I tether people, I have to get the kill, as opposed to these explosions where my teammates help kill the tethered enemies. I think I have to kill them in order to create an orb of light. And it's not a chance to create orb of light like the Defender Titan melee or heavy weapon kill perk. This is guaranteed, as from what I'm reading, it looks like it's guaranteed orbs of light. And then the last perk, Lockdown. Grenade and smoke effects last twice as long, allowing strong territory control. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably going to be running that all the time. All the time. Because think about the void wall right here. And then the smoke. Yeah. Like, or no, not that one. Like this one. If you have the poison smoke and the void wall, fire up Control, Crucible. No one can touch you because, like, man, that's going to be super fun to use in the Crucible, I think, and super annoying to play against. Now that you think about it, yeah, super annoying to play against. Oh well. Shade Step, yes, evade. If you played Halo Reach, the armor ability, evade, hell yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Yep, absolutely. Most likely, evade is going to be the go-to in any subclass because people just want to roll. And it looks like we didn't get to see it in this stream, but it did look like you get invincibility frames. So that's awesome. All right. Void anchors fired from Shadow Shot become traps that stick to surfaces and wait for prey. Interesting. So if I have this active and I have the sticky smoke bomb, right? I can stick my super to a wall and wait for an enemy to run past, right? I'm thinking Firebase Delphi. If I'm on the B control point and I'm looking out the C window, I can just fire a void bow right there at that window, a shadow shot, excuse me. Let's use the technical term. And just wait for somebody to come through that window, and then it explodes on them. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. But I think evade's going to be a little bit more effective there in that tree. Sprint and sneak faster, gain enhanced tracker, and the ability to mark targets you damage. Yeah, enhanced tracker, I think it's going to be a little bit more precise and a little bit more diameter in both PvE and PvP. But I don't know. I don't really see much use out of this over evade. But I haven't played the game yet, so maybe not. Let's see here. All right, and they talk about the artifact again. It's just going to, yeah, void melees have a chance to generate an orb when killing minion of the darkness. Again, PvE oriented. Really nothing to see here. Let's go into the Stormcaller. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Stormcaller Warlock subclass. Again, let me see here. What is that first grenade? Pulse grenade. That's a pulse grenade from a Striker Titan. That's right. Yep. So again, 2 out of the 3 grenades are recycled from previous subclasses. Not really creative, but hey, what can you do? And he actually goes through these subclasses pretty quick, so I'm gonna try and hit the pause button. Storm grenade, a grenade that calls down a focused lightning storm. Yeah, I mean, think of the I'm thinking of the wizard's poison cloud again, and the hunter's melee. That's what I think of it as. I'm gonna I don't really. Calls down a focus lightning storm. I don't know. Maybe we'll see some gameplay of it, but I would think the arc bolt grenade from the Blade Dancer Hunters is going to be a little bit more useful in that tree, in my opinion. But maybe it'll surprise me. Maybe. We have the typical Warlock glides. This looks like the Sunsinger Warlock glides. Very similar. Focus burst right there is what you should be using, in my opinion, because it allows you to move around the area quicker, whether it's a control map or something else. So Stormcaller, chain arc lightning from your hands. Emperor Palpatine, let's do it. On casting Storm Trance, fire a bolt of lightning into the ground, creating a devastating shockwave under you. I mean, think Sunsinger's Fireborn with Purifier robes, right? It's going to be an area of effect denial, and if somebody's trying to punch you in the face, Stormcaller, lightning shock them to the ground, because, yeah, why not? And if you're being overrun by PvE enemies in the raid or a strike, pop this to deal some quick and easy damage around you. Let's see here. Next one. Superconductor doubles your Storm Trance's lightning's chaining capabilities. So damage more enemies with lightning. Yeah. I mean, chaining lightning is always super useful. So why not double it? Ionic Blink. Press L3 to teleport during Storm Trance. So instead of... what is that? Oh, okay. So whenever you use Stormcaller, right, you kind of just float around on the ground. You can still jump and stuff, but you can't sprint. But if you have... Well, you can sprint, okay? You can sprint, I think. Or maybe not. Whatever. But if you have Ionic Blink on and you hit the sprint button, you will just teleport a short distance. So say you're fighting the tank, which we'll see later on in the strike, the land tank, and he fires that missile at you. You can just blink to the side. Easy as that. So yet again, Warlocks have another blink at their disposal. So, oh well. But it's only when their super is active. So, oh well. Deliver an electrocuting arc melee strike at extended range. Again, we are continuing on with the criteria of Warlocks having the strongest melee attacks in the game. So why not give them an extended lightning shock? Why not? Your Thunder Strike chains to another nearby enemy. So think of the Arc Bolt grenade effect. Whenever it hits an enemy, it chains to another enemy. You have that in a melee now. So yeah. Easy. Let's do that. Next. Go to the next one. Come on. Amplitude. Your Thunderstrike has greater range. Oh man. If you thought the Warlocks had a long-range melee attack, just wait until you run into the Stormcaller with Amplitude in the Crucible. I don't know what to say about this one. I really don't. Hits with Thunderstrike charge your super ability and melee energy. Hits, not kills. Hits. I just have to hit you with my Thunderstrike. Yeah, I mean, let's do that. That's easy. One of the best right there. Typical Warlock tree, he doesn't even go over it. Pulse Wave. When critically wounded, trigger a pulse wave that boosts speed for you and your allies. Yeah, so when your white health, your shield, goes down to red, that's when I'm assuming this triggers. And I think it continues until your health becomes white or your shield comes back again. I'm going to assume that. Yeah. And as I talk about this and say I assume or whatever, they could be explaining it in the stream, but I'm not using the audio from the stream right now. Feedback. Incoming melee attacks fully recharge. Incoming melee attacks fully recharge and intensify your Thunderstrike? Excuse me? You will never have to run strength again on your Warlock with this. I don't know. I don't know. No. Man, this is strong. And it increases your armor. And it increases your armor. Look at this. It gives you more armor. No. Nuh-uh. No way. If you run feedback with this perk that increases your, or that recharge your super every time you hit somebody with your melee, free super for days. Why is that a thing? That's going to be really strong, and Stormcaller is going to be super fun to play, but it's also going to be super annoying to play against. Transcendence. When cast with full grenade and melee energy, Storm Trance restores your health to full and drains slower. So if you have a grenade and a melee charge ready, and you're about to die, let's pop our super. Instant full health, and you take less damage. Warlocks are super strong right now in the game. Like, no way. No way. They're making them way too tanky. Okay. Perpetual charge. Grenade kills, recharge your melee. Melee kills, recharge your grenade. That's really self-explanatory. You're gonna have all the things available when you're a Warlock. Like, there's no way there's no way you should ever say, "Oh, I didn't have a grenade. That's why we wiped the raid. I couldn't kill that one guy because I didn't have a grenade or a melee charge active." No. No. You're always going to have everything available. So, Arc Web. Enemies damaged by your grenades chain deadly lightning to nearby enemies. Damaged. Not even killed. So, Arc Bolt with Arc Web chains lightning forever. I think I'm going to switch to Warlock Master Race. Yeah, absolutely, Pacmo. Absolutely. Electrostatic Mine. Storm Trance charges faster when allies are near. When Storm Trance is active, nearby enemies take damage. Okay, so he has the lightning strike cooldown when he activates his super. That dissipates a lightning charge, damaging nearby enemies. And then, if you still survive that, and he's not looking at you, you're still going to take damage because his Stormcaller is active. Storm Trance charges faster when allies are near. Oh my gosh, you don't have to run intelligence on your armor anymore because your super is going to charge faster no matter what. If you're next to an enemy or next to an ally, excuse me. Warlocks are going to have so much fun and are probably going to need a little bit of a nerf, Bungie, but I'm really excited about this because yeah, okay. Oh. Yeah, okay. All right. And then they talk about the artifact. Arc melees with a chance to generate an orb when killing minion of the darkness. Yeah. That's all artifacts do. Nothing super important. Nothing super important. Yeah, now it looks more like Gunslinger 2.0. I'm going to stick with my Warlock main now. Yeah, absolutely, Z Dynasty. Warlocks are going to have so much fun this DLC. At least the first couple weeks until Bungie hopefully nerfs something about that subclass tree. Because there's so many ways to optimize using your super as a Stormcaller. I mean, every time I play PvP, I'm going to put my Warlock on and just run Stormcaller. Because it's going to be that easy. Extended melee range? Oh man, it's going to be exciting. Okay, so we get into the strike here. We see as a typical hand cannon. This is the Titan guy, right? This is the Titan, the Hammer of Soul guy. That's interesting. It looks like, yeah, that explodes. Let's not do that. And dumbass, Mr. Fruit, of course. Come on. It's interesting. I do want to note before, I do want to point out before we move on in the strike, I want you to take note of this right here. His experience bar, his light level, right? I think this is his progress towards his next mote of light, because all three of them in the fire team are level 40, right? They're max level, right? They have no more experience to gain. But once you're currently in the game, you have light level 34, you're not gaining experience anymore, you gain progress towards your next mote of light. That's what I think this is. And as we get through, as we go through the strike, you'll see plus 40, plus 45, plus 55 for killing enemies. So similar how you would gain experience, you're going to gain progress towards your next mode of light. That's not confirmed, I'm just guessing. Would love an OP Warlock, haven't had that feeling in PvP or PvE, except rezzing. I think Warlocks are incredibly strong right now. So these enemies, triple tap procced right there. That's interesting. So these enemies right off the bat are level 30 because, as with any strike, you start off in a preliminary area, right? Okay, never mind. Excuse me. Level 36. Okay. So let me see. Let's go back. Let's go back a little farther. Do I need to go back farther than that? Okay, let's go back farther than that. Mr. Fruit, come on, come on. Let's see here. These enemies are level 36. Okay, my bad. As a level 36 strike, you're going to start in right in the action. I thought that it was a preliminary area with lower level enemies to help you gain some super energy or just run past. It still looks like you can just run past all of these enemies. It doesn't matter because the beginning part of any strike is get to the first boss or get to the first wave of whatever. What's happening, Lord Quiche? We're actually talking about the strike now. Okay. Blah blah blah. We're gonna talk about Cabal. Cabal are invading the Dreadnought. Why? We don't know yet because that's part of the story. Cabal, Hive, Fallen are going to be on the Dreadnought. I think all races are going to be on the Dreadnought. I don't know about Vex, and I'm not sure about Fallen, but I think I heard that in the stream that they are going to have Fallen enemies here. So yeah, you see his teammates just run off to the side, off to the left there. That's because you don't really need to kill these enemies. You really don't. You really don't. You just run past them into the next room. At least that's my impression. Eternal Nightmare. What's happening? Okay, so I was really, actually really disappointed he's using a hand cannon here. I kind of wanted to see the effectiveness of, oh, let's go back. That was an evade. Let's go back. Let's go back just a little bit. I really kind of want to see the effectiveness of an auto rifle, but oh well. He's using a hand cannon because hand cannons are still high impact weapons in PvP. So watch the Hunter here as he enters this next room from the hallway. He does his evade. This is what I'm talking about. Invincibility frames. This dude's player model is like not there right now. I really don't think I would be able to damage him in PvP as he's evading. I really hope I will be able to. Thank you for following the stream. I don't have the names pulled up, but it's definitely appreciated. Thank you so much. So he doesn't evade right there, and he doesn't gain a lot of distance, right? Let's go back just a little bit more. Watch that one more time, okay? Let's see here. Let's talk about this. He starts here, and then he evades, and he ends up right there. So that's really not that far. I mean, that's maybe current shotgun range, right? I don't know. It's not really that far, but it's still really useful. if you can evade. I don't know the cooldown on evade. Maybe you can just roll the whole time. That would be super awesome. But we just don't know at this point. We have an internal cooldown similar to Blink. So, yeah, okay, let's fast forward this. Fast forward this. What is that? Let's go back just a little bit. Okay, alright. So, he threw the grenade, right? And then the line of fire, I think, goes this way to the left. So, yeah. And, if we notice, this guy, Claude, he's camoed because he used his smoke bomb. And he walked through the camo. And he became invisible. And Mr. Fruit got that as well. So let's go back just a little bit. Watch Mr. Fruit's player model. He will go invisible in just a sec. I think. No? Maybe it's a little bit later on I'm thinking of. Oh, well. Let's see here. First enemies we encounter here are the Cabal. Nice to see a legendary hand cannon still one-shots Scions in the face. That's a lot of crit damage coming from a hand cannon, right? Over 2,000. That's still a lot of crit damage. So obviously Taken King weapons are going to be more effective than House of Wolves, Dark Below, Vanilla Destiny weapons. So yeah, let's yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's go back just a little tiny bit, okay? He's going to activate his super, right? And what I said about the sunspots, he's going to be able to throw more hammers because he has that perk active where if he's standing next to a sunspot, he gains the overshield, which we can see immediately. It doesn't charge. It's an instant overshield. And his super recharges just a little bit slower. Every time he throws a hammer, a chunk of his super comes out. So obviously there is a maximum number of hammers you can throw. But unlike the Warlock's Sunsinger's Radiance, Warlocks can just keep throwing grenades and their super goes down at a consistent rate. Not the case with the Sunbreaker's hammers. But as you can see, there's no ammo counter either, right? Let's go back just a little bit to confirm that. Yeah, infinite ammo, right? I don't know if you guys can see that in the stream quality, but infinite ammo. So throw as many hammers as you want. Make that sunspot, and then throw as many as you want until the super runs out. So speed boost times 3. Remember, he has that perk active where enemies damaged by his fire. I originally thought it was when he's standing next to sunspots. Apparently that's not the case, I don't think. Enemies damaged by his fire gives him reload speed and agility, I think, stacking up to 3 times. And you can see the countdown timer right there is 15 seconds. So, let's go back just a little bit to see if it is 15 seconds each stack. So yeah, let's go back just a little bit to see where he first activates his super. Does the sunspot. I think he only damages 1 enemy right there. Okay. I can't really tell because he damaged multiple enemies at once with the hammer. So I don't know if the speed boost immediately starts out at 15 seconds, but I would assume so. And every time you gain a stack, it will refresh that cooldown. I'm going to assume that, yes. It seems like triple tap. He has triple tap on this hand cannon. 3 precision shots will return 1 to the magazine. It seems like it's proccing a little bit more often, so maybe they're changing that. We don't know what this Skyburner's command beacon is. Maybe you need it in the strike. Maybe not. Maybe it's a consumable that you can turn into the Cryptarch for Glimmer, or to one of the Vanguards for a armor reward, or a Sparrow upgrade from the Shipwright. We don't know what that is yet. Maybe they said it in the stream. I just don't think so. Let's see here. There are booby traps in the Dreadnought. I mean, why not? You get damage. I don't know if it's a one-hit kill. I doubt it because it's just fire. But watch where you step. Okay, so we see a siege tank immediately pop up. Claude, of course, rocking the death there. So Siege Tank, no new mechanics here, or Goliath Tank, excuse me. No new mechanics. Oh well. I mean, if you play the Valist Auric Strike, you know what a Siege Tank is, or a Goliath Tank, whatever. I'm going to call it Siege Tank, okay? Alright. So we saw the tether there in action. Let's go back a little bit. We saw the Nightstalker tether in action there. You can see, let's take a little closer look at that. Okay. Okay, so you can see the debuff red hue above the enemies, right? So that means they're suppressed. I think their movement speed is slowed as well. And they're not dead, right? You see this Phalanx? He only took that much damage, right? That's interesting, because the Nightstalker Hunter class is very utilitarian, very supportive, very similar to the Defender Titan. His bubble can't kill enemies, but it provides some utility to your fire team. So that's what this tether is going to be. Alright, so let's see here. Let's see, yeah, pick up the orbs. That's what we need. We want to get this Hammer of Soul going. If you guys want me to point anything out, please let me know. I'm really just trying to fly through this strike here. Let's see. I guess we can put some audio on. Let's see here. I don't know how loud that's going to be, but it'll fill the silence.
This hand cannon is just fantastic.
I'm a long scout rifle.
Okay, so remember when I said watch this bottom bar here, plus 27 for killing that one enemy. Again, I still think this is progress towards next mode of light. That's just my opinion. So once you reach max rank, very similar to the mechanic we have now, instead of just gaining experience, you gain whatever. You gain progress towards your next mode of light. That's what it is. I just totally blanked on the words there. So we're going to see him drop his Hammer of Soul next. Now let's pay attention to how much the first hammer costs, okay?
Okay. So we're back.
First hammer, maybe a fifth of his super, right? Okay, thank you for following the stream. Costs about a fifth of his super. Now, he's standing next to a sunspot now, which means it will increase the duration of his Hammer of Soul when it's active. So he'll be able to throw more hammers, supposedly. So let's see. Okay, it still looked like, when he threw that second hammer, it still looked like he consumed a very similar amount of his super energy. So I don't think the sunspots will reduce the cost of each hammer thrown, but it will reduce the rate at which your super declines. Perfect loudness. Okay, perfect. And this super, man, oh my gosh, is it powerful. Yeah, look at all this damage. Think of the Golden Gun. The Golden Gun would never do that much damage against the Goliath tank. Go play the Valist Auric Strike right now as a level 34 and play the Vanguard Dragon Strike. You know, you're still over leveled for that strike. Take a Golden Gun at that range to the Goliath tank and tell me how much damage it does. Not that much. Absolutely not. So, yeah. So Pulse Wave, that's one of his perks that he has active. I forget what it means, but whatever. Enemies damaged by his fire gives him that speed boost. Okay? So he's not standing next to a sunspot right now, but he has the speed boost active. That means it's damaged by the fire.
Wow, okay, that was doing a lot more damage than I thought.
Alright, typical Goliath tank mechanics. Shoot the wheels and defeat it. Blah, blah, blah. He's out of hand cannon ammo. Here's a quick note to amplify your Destiny mechanics. As soon as you run out of ammo, hit the reload button, because there's a delay. There is a built-in delay into Destiny where if you... Here, I'll let the thing play. Do something I like, I'll go back. Just hit the reload button immediately, because there's a delay in which you fire your last shot in the magazine to where you come unscoped and then you reload, right? If you want to reload faster, just hit the reload button as soon as you're done with that magazine. The Nighthawk helm, okay, it's a little bit different, but there is Golden Gun damage drop off. You have to think about that, because the Golden Gun is still classified as a hand cannon. When the hand cannons were nerfed in patch 111 earlier this year, the Golden Gun took those hand cannon range nerfs because it's still classified as a hand cannon. So Golden Gun still has damage fall off. So I mean, maybe the Celestial Nighthawk is going to have a little bit more damage output, but that's one shot, right? That's one shot, and you have to have an exotic for it. Not the case with the Hammer of Soul. You just throw hammers at it. So Cade 6 is the narrator for the strike. I could always use more Nathan Fillion in my life. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. When they walked over those fire jets, I really thought they were going to come back on. But I think it's to prevent players from going back in the strike. Actually, yeah. Let's think about that. Didn't they just come from this area? Yeah, they just came from this area, right? And then they came in from the bottom left and they jumped up, or they came through the top left and they ran across those fire jets. And then the fire jets came on to prevent players from going back or proceeding to the next area. So maybe. Interesting. That's just what I think. Just throwing it out there. Alright, Eternal Nightmare, no worries. We're glad we're having this discussion. So here we see combat with the Taken enemies. I was really hoping to see, and we'll see this in just a second. We saw that Centurion right there, the Taken Centurion, the shielded Cabal boss. He has an arc shield, by the way. Typical Centurions have a solar shield. This guy has an arc shield. He has kind of like a phase, right? He's taking damage and he kind of like glitches out, and then he just phases over to the left there, or phases to his right. So yeah, that's interesting. And he has an arc shield, and his rockets are void damage. Did you guys see that? I mean, probably not, but whatever. Okay, so here, this is what I want to talk about, this Taken Phalanx. I really, really hoped, because of the fact that because of the fact that the Taken Phalanx can shoot out of his shield, I really hoped we could damage him from the shield, right? You could still shoot his shield and him take damage. Apparently that's not the case, as we see right there. That immune shot, he hits the shield. Maybe if you hit the part where he shoots out of, I mean, obviously there's his shield around it, and then he has that little circle where he shoots things from. Maybe that part can take damage, but not his shield. I really hope there would be some type of different mechanic that a Taken Phalanx would have, as opposed to just having that extra ability, you know? I mean, it's fighting the Taken Phalanx is going to be no different than typical Phalanx, and I'm a little bit disappointed about that. Let's see here. Let's move on to the next area of the strike. So that was the first boss, okay? First boss of the strike, it was a Goliath tank. Kind of intense because it's a close area, but they didn't look like they were overrun. It looks like they could just sit on top of that ledge and safely take people out from a distance. So, I mean, yeah, maybe Defender Titans are still going to be super useful with those bubbles as well to take the what's it called? To take the aggro of the tank, okay? Kind of hope they would give more enemies void shields so that void weapons are more useful. Yes. Yeah, I'll agree with that. I will agree with that. So maybe Taken Fallen will have void shields. Or Taken Hive? Yeah, there's going to be Taken Hive, right? Okay, so let's think about this. Fallen Captains and Hive Knights in Nightfall, right? So Fallen Captains in general and Hive Knights in Nightfall have arc shields. Maybe they'll get void shields when they're taken. So obviously when an enemy is taken, their elemental damage and shield types are different. So they're probably just going to change that and move those around. All right, so they're talking. Just another hallway. Taken enemies are fighting Cabal because the Cabal are infiltrating the Dreadnought. Let's see here. Let's see here. Next area. Come on, let's go. Okay, so the sword still needs heavy ammo. So think of the energy sword from Halo 3, Halo Reach, and Halo 4, and it has a battery charge. That's how I'm assuming this heavy sword weapon is going to utilize the heavy ammo it picks up. Okay?
Oh, it's not. Oh.
So this is just another area. It's not really a boss room, so we're just gonna go through this here.
I'm coordinating to you that I'm running away.
And if you're wondering how I have this footage active, it's because I have I just went to Bungie's past broadcast. So if you want to watch the live stream without my commentary and you want Bungie's commentary explaining everything, then go to twitch.tv/Bungie and find their past broadcasts, and it will be right there.
What's the worst that could happen?
So just another staging area for people to collect more ammo, more super energy, whatever. In my opinion, I think we can just run through that, I think. So after you think of the Omnigul strike, as soon as you finish that, not the first room, but the second area, you kill those guys, and you run through the gate with the fallen guys, and then you run into the Skywatch area. That's another staging area. You can just run past those enemies. I think that's what that last area was. Okay. So, blah, blah, blah. Now we are in the final boss room, okay? Ooh, that was a nice voice crack. So, this strike consists of a preliminary area in which you can just run past the enemies, typical Destiny strike. First room is a boss, right? Goliath tank. We know how to take that out, so that's going to be super easy. We have a little bit of travel time, getting to a staging area in which we can recharge our super or gain more ammo, but we can probably just run past those enemies, and then we get into the boss room. So this really only has two, I'm going to use quotes here, two bosses in the strike. And I use quotes there because this final boss room has two bosses. So technically, this strike does have 3 bosses. Okay, so think of, so we're scanning here. I think we're going to scan the middle structure, or no, it's these arms and munitions, I guess that's what they're called. Yeah. I'm actually a big fan of the Nolan North voiceover for the boss. So this is the first boss right here. Valus Ma'al. Valus Ma'al. Cool, whatever. That's his mechanic right there. He's just gonna run at you, jump in the air, and try and punch you until you die. Right? That's his mechanic. So you just need to run away, take him at a distance, okay? Yep. That's what he does. So think of your typical Destiny boss. Here, I'll let this play because it's not really much to talk about. Think of your typical Destiny boss melee attack. He just does a ground slam so people can't get close to him. This dude doesn't care if you're close. He's going to run at you and leap and still do that ground slam, but he doesn't have a ranged attack, right? So if you just kite him like this, like you see here, then you're just gonna kite him forever, and it's gonna be a super easy boss fight, in my opinion. But this is the first part of the strike, so we'll get to the other mechanics in just a little bit. So, in typical Destiny fashion, we have the ads spawning in to help with the boss fight, to make it a little bit more difficult, to make the mechanic of juggling ads and boss aggro alive and well in the Taken King. So yeah, I mean, just kite this dude, kill ads, and then kite this dude and kill ads, and when he takes more than half of his health, apparently, that's what I'm seeing right here, when he takes more than half of his health, alright, thanks Eternal Nightmare, he's gonna run away, right? Because he needs his brother or his co-worker or cohort or significant other to come help out, or his mother. He needs his mother to bandage up his wounds, so he runs away. More ads spawn in before the second boss of the boss room, the third boss of the strike. Typical scions here, blah blah blah, easy to take out. They just look different, right? They have no new mechanics. These are not taken enemies. These are just typical Cabal forces. Here's the second boss, okay? I don't know what his name is. Valus something. And he's ranged. He doesn't have a melee attack, apparently. I mean, I don't know if he has the, oh, guardians are close to me, I'm going to do a ground slam. But he's only ranged, it looks like. He's shooting this tank, this little, what would you call that? Like an anti-aircraft turret at guardians, right? And you can see where it's going to land. You see that little bluish circle pop up, kind of like the green vestiges from the Dark Below pop up, but you don't take damage from them. You can see where he's going to shoot, right? So the Guardians, the fire team, they actually got close to him, and he just jumped away, and he's just going to sit there and do more of his ranged attacks. In my opinion, that's a super easy boss mechanic. Like, just kite him again, right? Pull out your Black Hammer. I mean, Black Hammer's going to be nerfed, so pull out your sniper rifle, pull out your fusion rifle, or whatever, something that you can take him out at a distance from, and that's just going to be super easy. I do want to point this out. This is why I paused it here, okay? We see the Titan. Oh, wait, nope, that's not the point. Never mind. We're going to get there in just a second. I think it's when the second bosses are active. But at one point in this boss fight, the Titan melees him. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. He melees him, and remember he has the perk active where if I melee somebody with my melee charge, then all of my allies' damage and all of my damage afterwards are going to be precision hits, okay? So we don't see it here because the guy is fighting whatever, but we'll see it a little bit later on, okay? Valus Tulurn takes more than half his health, so he's going to run away. He needs his mommy to bandage his wounds, okay? He's just going to run away. You can still damage him as he runs away. So technically, if you have a skilled enough fire team and have strong enough weapons, you can kill both bosses before they retreat. Theoretically. But it's going to be difficult, and I'm really excited to see the first fire team that actually pulls that off. So that's interesting. So unlike the, yes, I'm live, but the content I'm playing is recorded. Thank you. So what was I saying? Unlike the Tanic strike and I think it's just the Tanic strike, maybe some other strike. So the Tanic strike, right? You damage him, it triggers his retreat, and he's immune as he's retreating. That's not the case with these bosses, okay? Okay, so he retreats, adds spawn, again, just for Guardians to replenish their supers, replenish their ammo, and get ready for the final fight, okay? For the third wave of the final boss fight, okay? I was really, really disappointed when they didn't flip to first person for Mr. Fruit here. Mr. Fruit, how you doing, Fake? Mr. Fruit has a sword equipped as his heavy weapon, and as I said, it needs heavy ammo to charge it up. And I was really disappointed when they didn't go first person here, but I understand. So he's using his sword, right? It's a typical sword, except for the fact you can block damage. Yes! Okay, look at this. Look at this sword. He has an arc damage sword, right? He's holding down left trigger, right? What you usually use to aim down sights. This is blocking damage, right? I don't think it's really being effective right here. Because since it's an arc sword, I'm going to assume it blocks arc damage a little bit more than other damage. So yeah, so and since this Cabal is solar damage, then I don't think it's being that useful. But as it runs out of heavy ammo, then you are vulnerable, right? It just goes away. You can't use it anymore. So yeah, I think that's cool. I'm really excited to see the swords actually in use. I can't wait to use one myself. Okay, so the twins are back. The twins are back, okay? And as we can see, haha, let's go back just a little bit before we talk about the new boss mechanics, okay? Joining allies. So whenever you go out of the map, right? Whenever you go out of the map currently in Destiny, it is turned back and you die after a certain point. Joining allies in. This is a mechanic that they talked about in weekly update or another stream or a Game Informer article. I can't remember. But they talked about the fact that they're trying to deal with AFKers in strikes. So they're implementing a Prison of Elders mechanic where if there are players left behind, they're going to be teleported in with the rest of the fire team. So he's actually technically out of bounds at this point in the arena. So if he were to stay out of the arena for these 4 seconds, he would be teleported in randomly in that arena. So it's a kind of a catch-up mechanic that we've seen in games before. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. This new mechanic, let's see if I can get a better pause here. Okay, maybe we'll get one right here. Okay, all right. So I have the storm. Hang on, let me see here. So the first guy, Valus Maul, right, like Darth Maul, he's that charge at you, pound into the ground, right? Now he leaves damaging spots, right? I'm going to assume if I stand in this fire, I'm going to take damage, and probably a lot of it, because it's a boss thing. So, yeah, don't stand in those. So that's his new ability, right? Okay? And see, that dude, we got close to him, but he just jumps away, okay? I don't know exactly how this works, okay? The other guys, what was his name? Valus Thurn, I think? Valus Thurn. Valus Maul, yeah, we know your ability. He glows white hot right there. Maybe that's, he takes reduced solar damage? I don't know. Maybe that would be cool, but maybe not, okay? Let's see here. Sorry, my phone was ringing. Yeah, see, he just took a lot of damage. So think of your solar grenades, but a little bit more effective, right? He just took a lot of damage for standing in that thing. And we see those little blue circles from the dude shooting. So these Wonder Twins right here are actually working pretty well together, okay? The red guy is diving your fire team, and he's forcing you to move, right? Whereas this dude, the blue guy, he's just standing in the corner and just firing rockets off at you. He's like, yeah, okay, you're not going to hit me. Because if you stand in one spot and you're trying to focus this dude, no, that's not going to happen. Because the red guy is going to come and try and punch you in the face and light you on fire. So this blue guy's mechanic, he kind of summons this huge bubble shield around him. Now, I don't know exactly how it works, okay? But I think he can't take damage from outside the bubble, okay? Maybe we'll see something here in just a second, okay? So he has to jump inside the bubble to deal damage to him, okay? And oh, yep, that's what it was right there. Let's go back a little bit. He jumps inside the bubble to attack him. So I don't think he can take damage from outside the bubble, okay? That's why it spawns there. But if you jump inside the bubble, you're close enough to where he'll just jump away, right? So you kind of have this really small window of opportunity to deal damage on this guy before he tries to run away, okay? And here we see, let's see here. I think that was, oh, okay. So he was tethered by the Nightstalker's Void Bow. So his fusion rifle did all precision damage, okay, because he was weakened. Yeah, that's really useful. Absolutely. No questions asked, okay? Let's see here. I thought there was a part... Okay, he does have a ground slam. He does have a ground slam if you get too close to him, okay? So, just typical Destiny boss. You can't get close to them and just punch them in the face. Sorry, Punch Bros. That ain't gonna happen, okay? So now, this is the part, okay? Mr. Fruit, he has that melee ability where if he melees somebody and they're on fire, all damage done to him while he's still on fire will be precision damage, okay? So he's using a fusion rifle here. Fusion rifles don't do precision damage. Let's take a look at that. The dude's on fire because the Titan punched him. He can take precision damage now. This fusion rifle just does 30% extra damage because that's what precision damage is, I think. Something like that. Something like that. Whatever. It just does precision damage, and every single bullet or pellet or charge in the fusion rifle burst does precision damage. So, Solar Titans, punch the boss, and don't worry about hitting their face, because Valis to Auric right now, kind of hard to get precision hits on because of his tiny little head. Solar Titans, just going to punch him, right? And you can just shoot him anywhere, and he's going to take precision damage for a short time. Alright, so let's listen to this as they finish it up.
Oh,
Yes. More like Valis to dead.
hey, oh, look at that.
More like Valis to dead. Classic.
Good job, Mr. Fruit. Good job. Good job, everyone.
High fives all around.
Alright. So cool. Yeah, that's the one of the two strikes on the Dreadnought. And hopefully I explained something about the subclasses. Let's see what else did they talk about. They just talked about their experience with the strike. So I'm gonna just go back a little bit here and let the strike play just a little bit while I do the closing thoughts. So thank you guys so much for joining me on my Bungie strike stream reveal stream. The VOD of this will probably go up on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/wooshness, WOOOSHNESS. I will link that in the stream after in just a second. I need to put this Gatorade up. But yeah, so look for the VOD. Obviously, it's going to be on Twitch. If you want to just see the Bungie reveal, it's twitch.tv/Bungie, and then go to their past broadcasts. It's their most recent stream. They also have their previous week's stream about Year 2 Destiny right there. Excuse me, right there in VOD form. So look for it there. My commentary will be up on YouTube a little bit later today or tomorrow. Again, at youtube.com/wooshness, WOOOSHNESS.com/wooshness. There we go, right there. I think that is the correct link. Did I type it correctly? Yes, I did. Okay, so look for it there. I will see you guys a little bit later on, not today, but a little bit later on at some point in this week to play some more Destiny. So thank you guys so much for watching my review and breakdown, and I'll see you guys in the next video.